Hello everyone. Before we get started, make sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment saying where you're from and when you watched. That way, YouTube will continue to show you stories like this. Now, let's get started. Asterisk, I sat down on the floor, holding my head in my hands. My heart felt like it was being squeezed. Tears were still wet on my cheeks, but before my eyes, the phone screen was shining brightly. The cold red words appeared that the game was not over. It had just changed to another form. I was breathless. My whole body was trembling. I shouted loudly that I had done everything. Why wasn't it over yet? But the only thing that answered me was a long static and a hoarse laugh that echoed as if it came from deep underground. The space of the apartment seemed to distort. The walls trembled. The zigzag cracks were like faces screaming in silence. I realized that the girl's sacrifice had only broken one layer of the curse, and the deeper layer was still waiting for me. The phone vibrated so hard that I thought it was going to explode. The new words appeared. Be prepared. The next stage is fusion. I was stunned, not understanding what fusion meant, but my heart told me that it was something more terrible than anything I had ever experienced. The air in the room was thick. The smell of ashes gradually disappeared, replaced by the pungent smell of rusty iron and fresh blood. Cold sweat trickled down my neck. I trembled as I approached the phone, but as soon as I touched it, a cold air penetrated my whole body, making my heart stop beating in an instant. I saw a distorted scene before my eyes. I was standing in an endless hallway, the lights flickering intermittently. On both sides were countless identical doors. Each door had numbers engraved on it, and all were familiar numbers that had haunted me for many nights. From within the doors came the sounds of crying, laughing, and screaming like hundreds of trapped souls. I ran in panic, but each step only brought me closer to a door. The phone in my hand lit up, displaying the message to choose a door to merge. I shook my head, not wanting to open it, but the invisible hand forced me to reach out. I placed my hand on the nearest door, and for a moment, the screams inside were so loud that my ears felt like they were about to burst. The door swung open, and darkness swallowed me. I fell into an endless void, my ears ringing from the chaotic screams. When I opened my eyes, I found myself in another room, familiar yet strange. It was the living room of my apartment, but everything was distorted like in a nightmare. The walls were mottled. The sofa was scorched. The window frames were pitch black. In the middle of the room was a large mirror, and in the mirror I saw my image, but my eyes were completely black. My mouth was smiling a distorted smile. The person in the mirror spoke in a familiar hoarse voice. Now we will merge. I backed away, screaming in panic, but the image in the mirror reached out. The hand penetrated the cold glass and grabbed my wrist. I struggled, but the pulling force was too strong. My body was slowly being pulled into the mirror. Hundreds of voices, whispers, cries, and crazy laughter echoed in my head. I understood that the souls trapped in this game were trying to merge with me. The phone in my hand vibrated. The screen displayed the words, "You will be the new door." I panicked and shouted, "No, please spare me." But the black eyes in the mirror just stared at me, a crooked smile spreading from ear to ear. For a moment, I felt like a part of myself was being pulled into him, and vice versa. He was creeping into my mind. When I jerked out, the whole room was dark. The mirror disappeared, but the strange feeling was still in my head. The hoarse voice now echoed in my mind, without the need for a phone, whispering each word, "John, we are one." I trembled, holding my head, trying to dispel that voice, but to no avail. The phone lit up again, displaying a new message. You have one last chance to break the game. Go to the place where death began. I froze, immediately remembering the bus accident years ago, where it all began. My heart pounded. I knew that my last trip was waiting for me there. I raised my head, looked around the desolate apartment, my eyes stinging with fear and exhaustion. But deep down, I knew that there was no other choice. The game had trapped me, and if I didn't leave, I would become a part of it forever. I clenched my phone in my hand, took a deep breath, and prepared to leave. End of part 9. Please follow the next episode to see what horrors await John at the site of the fateful bus accident years ago.